Alright guys, so this is going to be my longest video ever. It's going to probably be an hour or so if you guys don't want to watch the full video, you guys can just skip to the parts where you feel are a little challenging, or the questions, like the individual questions that you guys find challenging. But this is going to be part 4, test number 10. You can find this in the link below, and you guys can do it yourself. If you guys have any trouble with any questions, you guys can just check my video. So let's begin. Question 1. A helicopter initially hovered 40 feet above the ground, begins to gain altitude at a rate of 21 feet per second. Which of the following function represents the helicopter's altitude after the ground y in t seconds after the helicopter began to altitude? So y is going to be this, right? So then the rate at which it goes is 21 feet per second. So that's 21t. And what was the initial hovering distance? It's plus 40. Alright, boom, that's going to be your equation, meaning your answer is going to be B. Alright, so that was easy. Let's move on to the second question. So question number 2. A text message plan charges a flat fee of $5 per month for up to 100 text messages sent, plus $25 for each additional text message sent a month. Which of the following graphs represents the cost Y of sending X messages in a month? So they charge $5 per month. So it's going to go up, right? Because it's going to be linear and it's going to go up. So it means that this D is out and B is out, because as you guys can see, it's pointing down, right? So you're not going to get charged less money for using more, right? And now for the first 100 text messages, they're free basically. If you pay, right, they're free basically for the first 100 messages. They're free as long as you pay the $5. So it means for the first 100, it's just $5. And then every additional message, you get 25 cents. You have to pay 25 cents. So it means that this answer A is correct, because as you guys can see here, this is linear starting from $5. So after the first message, you're going to get paid according to this graph. But that's not what's happening. After the first 100, then you start paying. So that's why your answer is going to be A. Alright, question 3. Question 3. Jake buys a bag of popcorn at a movie theater. He eats half of the popcorn during the 15 minutes of preview. After eating half of the popcorn, he stops eating for the next 30 minutes. Then he gradually eats the popcorn until he accidentally spills all the remaining popcorn. Which of the following graphs could represent this situation? So let's see what Jake does. He eats half the popcorn. So half is, alright, so amount of popcorn, it's definitely not going to be D, because he doesn't start with 0 popcorn and then he doubles his popcorn all of a sudden. So what happens is that, okay, so half, so this looks appropriate, right? After eating half the popcorn, he stops eating for 30 minutes. So for the next 30 minutes, he stops eating. So this looks pretty good. And then he gradually eats the popcorn until he accidentally spills all the half. So he gradually eats. So this is obviously wrong, because the question doesn't mention anything about him refilling or anything. So C is going to be wrong. And now he gradually eats until he spills all of it. So it means B is going to be your answer. A, we could cancel out A, because as the question says, he spills the rest. So it means he's not going to have any gains. Right? He's not going to gain any additional popcorn by eating it. So our answer is going to be B, based on process of elimination. Alright, question 4. If 20 minus x is equal to 15, what is the value of 3x? So if I just minus 15 on both sides, wait, let me just write this down. 20 minus x is equal to 15. I add x on both sides, and I'll subtract 15 on both sides. That'll give me x is equal to 5. They're asking for 3x. 3 times 5 is 15, giving us an answer of C. And now let's move on to question 5. For the function f defined above, which of the following is the value of f of negative 1? F of negative 1. So it means you just plug in the value of negative 1 for x. That's negative 1 plus 3 over 2, giving us 2 over 2, which is equal to 1. Means our answer is going to be C. Alright, question 6. Which of the following is equivalent to 2x times x squared minus 3x? So let's just distribute, right? So what's 2x times x squared? That's 2x to the third, right? When you multiply exponents, you just add them. Minus 2 times 3 is 6. X times x is x squared. Boom, that's going to be your answer. Meaning D is the correct answer. Alright, let's move on to question 7. A retail company has 50 stores located in different areas throughout a state. A researcher who for the company believe that the employee job satisfaction varies greatly from store to store. Which of the following sampling methods is most appropriate to estimate the proportion of all employees of the company who are satisfied with their job? So let's read each choice. Selecting one of the 50 stores at random and then surveying each employee at that store. Well, is not all the stores because there are 50 stores, so why would they only survey one of the stores? So A is not going to be a correct answer. Selecting 10 employees from each store at random and then surveying each employee selected. Yeah, that's going to be very random. So that's going to be a possible correct answer because the randomness of this is very good. And you want randomness when in a survey. Surveying the 25 highest paying employees and the 25 lowest paying employees. Obviously, if you survey the 25 highest paying and the 25 lowest paying, they're going to have biased opinions. So C is wrong. Creating a website on which employees can express their opinions, then using the first 50 responses. Now, that is also going to be biased because you don't know who the first 50 is. So it's not going to be random. And 50 does not have that many. 50 isn't that many responses. So you're trying to get the most responses. So that means B is going to be your answer. Let's use process of eliminations for these type of questions. Question 8. The two graphs above show the total amounts of money that Ian and Jeremy have each deposited into their savings account. For the first 7 weeks after opening their accounts, after they made their initial deposits, how much more did Ian deposit each week than Jeremy? So let's find out the slope of each line. So let's use for Ian, right? For Ian, let's use the points 0, 100, and let's see what else is the point. 4, 500. So those are 2 points for Ian. So that means his slope is 500 minus 100. Because how do you calculate slope? Change of y over change of x. 500 minus 100, that's 400. 4 minus 0, that's 4. So it means Ian's average, how much he makes per week is $100. Now, on the other hand, Jeremy, he uses the points 0, 300, as well as 4, 500. Right? 500 minus 300, that's 200. 4 minus 0, that's 4, giving us $50. So they're asking for what is the difference in between how much they make. 100 minus 50 is 50. C. Alright, question 9. The function at h is defined above. What is h of 5 minus h of 3? So we just plug in 5 for the value of x and 3 for the value of x, and then we subtract them. So what's 2 to the 5th minus 2 to the 3rd? Because 5 for x, 3 for x right here. They're asking for 5 minus 3, basically. 5 minus 3. So 2 to the 5th is equal to 32, while 2 to the 3rd is 8, meaning our answer is going to be 24. C. Alright, question 10. A researcher surveyed a random sample of students from a large university about how often they see movies. Using the sample data, the researcher estimates that 23% of the students in the population saw a movie at least once per week. The margin of error for this estimation is 4%. Which of the following is the most appropriate conclusion about all students at the university based on the given estimate and margin of error? So, 23%. He estimates that 23%. If there's a margin error of 4%, so that means it's going to go from 19% to 27%, because 23 minus 4 is 19, 23 plus 4 is 27. So there's a margin of that. It is unlikely that less than 23% of students see a movie at least once per week. That's wrong because it could go up to 27, and it's somewhere along this range. So that's wrong. At least 23%, but no more than 25% of the students see a movie at least once per week. It's from 19 to 27, as I just said. So this is obviously going to be wrong. The researcher is between 19% and 20% sure. That's not correct because there's probably a 95%, he's probably 95% sure if there's an error of estimation of 4%, so C is wrong. It is plausible that the percentage of students who see a movie at least once per week is between 19 and 27. That's what I was saying the whole time, so it means our answer is going to be D. How did I get that? Because for these type of questions, if there's an error of 4%, you just subtract 4% and add 4%, giving you 19 and 17 respectively. Alright, question 11. The table above shows two lists of numbers. Which of the following is true statements comparing list A and list B? So this question is pretty easy. So what I'm going to do is just look at the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5. So this list is obviously closer, right? This list is obviously closer to the mean because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the mean is 3.5, but 1 and 5 are a long way from there. In this case, the mean is probably around 3 or 3 point something, right? But 2 is a lot closer to 3.5, and 5 is a lot closer to 3.5. So that means that the standard deviation for the list A is going to be less than list A, because the numbers are further apart from the mean, while these numbers are closer to the mean. So the standard deviation are different, so that's going to be correct. So it means you just cancel out the ones with standard deviation are the same, because the standard deviation is not going to be the same for each one. The means are the same, so let's calculate the mean. The mean for this, as I just said, is 3.5, somewhere along, right? That's equal to 21 divided by 6, which is 3.5. When you add these, that's 6, 10, 12, 12 plus 9, 21, 21 divided by 6. So their means are going to be the same, but their standard deviations are going to be different, meaning our answer is going to be A. Alright, let's look at question 12. A book was on sale for 40% of its original price, and the sales price of the book was $18. What was the original price of the book? Assume there was no tax. So if the book was on for 40%, so it means how much do you pay? So 1 minus 0.4, because it's off by 40%, so it means you actually only pay 60%, right? That's logic, because if it's 40% off, you only pay 60%. So I'm going to rewrite this as a fraction. I'm going to write it as 6/10 of x, where x represents the original price, because you're paying 60% of the actual price, and that's equal to 18. Multiply both sides by 10 over 6. That'll give you, these cancel out, x is equal to 180 over 6, which can be simplified to 30, meaning that the original price of the book was C, $30. Alright, now let's look at this really big question. 3 colonies of insects were placed and treated with a different pesticide over 8-week periods to test the effectiveness of the 3 pesticides. Colonies A, B, and C are treated with pesticides A and C. Okay, I'm not going to finish reading this. Question 13. Which of the following colonies showed a decrease in size every 2 weeks after the initial treatment with pesticides? So let's look at each colony. So let's look at colony A. So does colony A go down each week? Well, it goes from 80 to 40 to 50 to 30 to 20 something to 10 to 18. So it does go down every single week. Now let's look at colony B. Yep, they go from 60 to 60 something to 60 to 40 to 30 and then all the way to 10. So it means it does decrease every single week. And lastly, let's look at colony C. So it goes from here to all the way up there. So it means that's obviously not decreasing. So it means our answer is going to be 1 and 2 only. Alright, now let's look at question 14. On the following, which is the closest to the ratio of the number of insects in the 3 colonies in weeks 8 to the total amount of insects in the time of initial treatment? So you guys probably can't see the graph. Alright, so week A. So for colony A, right? You add them together. So if you add 80, because for the initial week, right, it's right here. So if you add 80, 60, well, actually, this is closely to 120 if you add both these together, because they're around 60. So 80 plus 160 is 200. Actually, no, it's 200, because the initial is 200, right? And now they're asking for what is week 8. Week 8, you add all of these. So that's equal to somewhere along the lines of 18 plus 10 plus 50, which is around the range of 78. So 78 to 200. That can be rewritten as 39 to 10 to 100, which is 39 is closer to 40. So 40 to 10 to 100 is 4 to 5. Yeah. So no, it's equal to 2 to 5. It's equal to 2 to 5. So it means your answer is going to be A. Because as you guys can see here, 39 to 100 is the closest to 40%, which is equal to 2 over 5. And boom, that's how I got A. So if you don't get the correct, like a close answer, the closest answer is going to be correct. You don't get an exact answer. Because as you guys can see here, 39 to 100, that's not a solution, right? 2 to the 5th is though. Alright, question 15. A right circular cone has a volume of 24 pi cubic inches. If the height of the cone is 2 inches, what is the radius in inches of the base of the cone? Alright, so how are we going to approach this question? Alright, so how are we going to approach this question? So the volume is 24, right? So how do you find the volume of a right circular cone? It's equal to pi r squared times height is equal to the volume, right? The volume of a cone. So that's the formula, right? And now they gave you height already, and now you just have to find radius. So they gave you this pi times r squared times 2, because the height is 2, is equal to 24 pi, right? Because the volume is 24 pi, and they gave you the height of 2. Divide both sides by 2, giving you pi r squared is equal to 24, is equal to 12. Divide both sides by 12 pi. Divide both sides by pi, that'll give you r squared is equal to 12. Therefore, what is the radius? It's the square root of 12, which can be rewritten as 2 root 3. Boom, your answer is going to be A. Next question. Alright, question 16. In 2015, the population of city X and city Y were equal. From 2010 to 2015, the population of city X was decreased by 20%, and the population of city Y was decreased by 10%. And the population of city X was 1,200, 120,000 in 2010. What is the population of city Y in 2010? Alright. So the population of city X was increased by 20%. So that's... Alright, so city X. If the population of city X was 120,000 in 2010. So let's see. Alright, so if it was 120,000 in 2010. Wait, I have to read this again. Population of city X was... alright. So 120,000 in 2010. So how much was city X by 2015? So it has increased by 20%, which means if you do the math, that's around 24,000. So that the new city was 144,000, right? Now it's 144,000 because if you multiply this by 1.2, you'll get 144,000. Use your calculator if you don't know how to do that in your head. So, because this is the calculator section, so you can use your calculator if you want. And now, so now the new city was 144,000. In 2015, right, city Y had a population of 144,000, right? But then in 2010, it decreased by 10%. So 0.9x is actually equal to 144,000. Because in 2010 to 2015, it decreased by 10%, giving you 9.9x is equal to because in 2015 they had the same population. So this is your equation, and if you use your calculator, right, you divide both sides by 0.9. Divide both sides by 0.9. X is equal to what? X will be equal to, divided by 0.9, that'll give you 160,000. Meaning your answer is going to be D. Alright, let's move on. Question 17. The volume of a sphere is given by the formula V is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed, where r is the radius of the square. Which of the following gives the radius of the square in terms of the volume and the sphere? So we're going to solve for r. So V is equal to 4/3 pi r cubed. This is what we're going to do. We're going to divide both sides by pi, giving us V over pi is equal to 4/3 r cubed. Now we're going to multiply both sides by 3/4, giving us 3v over 4 pi is equal to, these cancel out, r to the third. And now we're going to cube root both sides, giving us r is equal to the cube root of 3v over 4 pi. Hence, our answer of D. Alright, now question 18. The table above shows the results of a survey in which table the tablet users were asked how often they would watch videos advertisement in order to access streaming content for free. Based on the table, which of the following is closest to the probability that a tablet user answered never, given the tablet did not answer never? Always. So for those who answered always, that's 30.9, right? Over, though, given that the tablet user did not answer never. So that means that only limits, so you can cancel out this, so that limits to adding all of these. So when you add all of these fractions, that's 17, 4, 3, 8, 2, 3, 6. So when you divide this, what fraction does that give you? I mean, what decimal does that give you? I'm going to plug that into my calculator. Alright, that gives you 0.449. So this is approximately 0.4498, which rounds to 0.45, So boom, your answer is C, right? Now, question 19. In the equation above, A is a constant. The graph of the equation in the xy plane is a parabola. Which of the following is true about the parabola? So this is written in Vertex form, right? If you guys don't know Vertex form, you guys should watch one of my earlier videos. But let's continue. So the maximum, they're asking for the minimum and maximum. So in this case, there's a negative, right? So what would the equation look like? It would look in the xy plane, right? Pretend this is the xy plane. What would it look like? Because it's negative, it would be pointing down. So it means it's the maximum of the graph. This point right here, because it's pointing down, it's going down. This is the maximum of the graph. So minimum, you cancel out minimums, A and B are wrong. It's going to be the maximum. So what is the maximum? Because it's in point slope form, the maximum is going to be 3A. If you guys don't know how to do this, you guys should figure that out by watching one of my videos. But the answer was going to be D, right? The answer was, in fact, D. Yep. Alright, now question 20. The maximum value of a data set consisting of 25 positive integers is 84. A new data set consisting of 26 positive integers is created, which by using 96 in the original data set. Which of the following increased measures must be 12 greater than the data set than for the original data set? Wow, I can't read. So the greatest value was 84, right? And now the greatest value is 96. So that means the greatest value went up by 12, right? It went up by 12. So which ones of these, they're asking what would affect. So I would automatically look at range. Why would I look at range? Because the mean, it would change, but not drastically by 12. The median won't change in this set, because if you change the least value or the greatest value, the mean does not change. I mean, the median does not change. And lastly, the standard deviation, which might change, but it won't change by 12. But why the range? So let's just say the smallest number in the set is 1, and the greatest set is 84. But now the new set, right? The new set, this is 96. So what is the range of the first set? That's 83. And now what is the set of this? It's 95. Hence, a change of 12. Meaning your answer is going to be C. 21. Clayton will mix X millimeters of a 10% by a mass saline solution with Y millimeters of a 20% by mass saline solution in order to create an 80% by mass saline solution. The equation above represents the situation if Clayton uses 100 millimeters of the 20% by mass saline solution. How many meters of the 10% by mass saline solution would he use? So let's just plug in, so let's just plug in 100 for Y, right? Because Y is equal to 100 millimeters. So Y is equal to 100. So 0.1x plus, what's 0.2 times 100? That's equal to 20. It's equal to 0.18 times x plus 100. Right? You guys know how to plug in numbers. That's second grade stuff. 0.1x plus 20 is equal to 0.18x plus 18. I just distributed this. Now I'm going to subtract 0.1x minus 0.1x, and I'll subtract 18 on both sides. I'm doing 2 steps, so I could do this much quicker. Alright, you guys don't want to be time efficient. So 2 is equal to 0.08x. Divide both sides by 0.08. And that will give you, what would that give you? That will give you x is equal to, let me plug this into my calculator. That's equal to 25. Alright, B. Let's move on. Question 22. The first year Eleanor organized a fundraising event, she invited 30 people. For each of the next 5 years, she invited double the amount of people she had invited the previous year. If f of n is the number of people invited to the fundraiser n years after Eleanor began organizing the event, which of the following statements could describe the function f? So if she doubles the people, so 30 people, and now next year she invites double the people, so that's 2 to the nth power every single year after, because she doubles every year after the first initial year where n is equal to 1. So now this is going to be an exponential function. So we could just cancel out a and b, right? And now she doubles every year, not halves every year. So it means it's going to be an increasing function, not a decreasing. Meaning your answer is going to be D. All right, question 23. Some values of x and their corresponding values of y are shown in the table above, where a is a constant. If there is a linear relationship between x and y, which of the following represents the value? So what we can do is we just plug in the values of x and y, right? So when x is equal to a, y has to equal to 0. So let's just plug it in. So when x is equal to a, y is equal to 0, that's good. When x is equal to a, y is equal to 0 is equal. So x plus 0 is not equal to 5a. So it means b is wrong. 2x minus y is equal to negative 5a. 2 times x is 2a minus 0 is not equal to negative 5a. So you just plug in the values of x is equal to a and y is equal to 0 into the equations, and you'll find out which ones are correct. So 2x minus y is equal to 7a. 2a minus 0 is not equal to 7a. So therefore our answer is going to be A, using the process of elimination. Alright, question 24. The scatter plot above shows the number of registered voters, x, and the number of people who voted in the last election, y, for 7 districts in the town. A line of best fit for the data is shown above. Which of the following could be the equation of the line of best fit? So, as you guys can see here, right, the values of this are 120 and 60, as well as 180 and 90. Alright, I use this point and this point right here. And now let's just calculate slope. Right, 90 minus 60 is 30. 180 minus 120 is 60, giving us a slope of 1/2. That means y is equal to 0.5x, right? Because half is equal to 0.5. So boom, that's going to be your answer. Let's move on. Question 25. The system of equation above is graphed by the xy plane. When the x coordinate, what is the x coordinate of the intersection point xy of the system? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply both sides by 3, right? So 2.4x minus 1.5y is equal to 0.3. Now I'm going to multiply this equation here by 3, and I'm going to show you why I did that. So if I multiply this equation, this bottom equation by 3, that'll give me 4.8x plus 1.5y is equal to negative 3.9. Now what am I going to do? I'm going to add both equations. I'm going to show you why I did that. So 7.2x, if you add negative 1.5 and 1.5, they cancel out. So these cancel out. Is equal to 0.3 plus negative 3.9, which is equal to negative 3.6. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to divide both sides by 7.2, giving me x is equal to, let me plug this into my calculator. This is equal to, x is equal to negative 0.5, right? Negative 0.5. Boom, your answer is going to be A. All right, let's move on to 26. Keith models the growth over several hundred years of a tree population by estimating the number of tree pollens grains per square centimeters that were deposited each year within layers of a lake sediment. He estimates that there are 310 pollen grains per square centimeter the first year, and the were deposited were a 1% annual increase in the number of grains per centimeter thereafter. Which of the following function models P of t, the number of pollen grains per square centimeter t years after the first years the grains were deposited? Oh my, that was a lot to read in. But okay, so initially he starts off with, so P of t is equal to, initially starts off with how much? He initially starts off with 310. And then what happens each year? It grows by 1%. So that's 1.01, because that's a 1% increase from the previous year. And then to how many years? To the t years, right? Every year after. So boom, that's going to be your equation. That takes 3 seconds to write, 3 seconds to circle the answer. All right. Now, based on the equation above, what is the value of 3x minus 2? Question 27. So what I'm going to do is I am not going to distribute, because that's the long way to do it. what I am going to do, 3x minus 2, what I am going to do is, oh, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to subtract, alright, so let's just call 9x minus 2 as y, right? 9x minus 2 is y, so 2/3 of y minus 4 is equal to y, right? You guys can see how I did that. 9x minus 6, 9x minus 6 I meant. So 9x minus 6 is equal to y, okay? I just called it y. So now I'm going to subtract 2/3 y on both sides. So negative 4 is equal to y, is equal to 1/3 y. And now I'm going to multiply both sides by 3, giving me y, wait, 1/3 y. Oh, wait, let's go back here. So 1/3 y is equal to negative 4. So what is 1/3 y? What is 1/3 times what is y equal to? 9x minus 6. That's equal to 3x minus 2. And boom, 1/3 y. 1/3 y. Asking for 3x minus 2. Answer is negative 4. Alright, now let's look at question 28. The function f is defined above. If k is a positive integer, which of the following could represent the graph of y is equal to f of x in the equation above an xy plane? So if k is positive, right? So I'm just going to call it a positive number. And now x plus 3. Well, first, if you see x times x, that's going to be x squared, right? Therefore, this equation is going to be pointing up. So it's going to look something like this, along the lines of this. So b and a are definitely out because they're pointing down, right? While these two are pointing up. Now, you see that? All right, now, what's next? So if k is a positive integer, which of the following could represent the graph of f of x? So let's look at x plus 3 first. So what would be the x-intercept if x plus 3 is one of the factors? It would be negative 3. So which one of the following intercepts negative 3? This one, as you guys can see here, intercepts negative 2. So this is wrong. While this one intercepts negative 3. So D is going to be your answer, as this one is wrong, so therefore D has to be our answer. Because these two are already wrong. Alright, let's look at question 29. The formula above can be used to approximate the height h in length in inches of an adult male based on length h, L, and, wow, I can't read, and inches of his femur. What is the meaning of 1.88 in this context? So 1.88 is the slope, right? So it means for every inch in the male's femur, he grows 1.88 inches. So the approximate length of inches for a man with the height of 32. Nope, because 32.1.01 is going to be the y-intercept. So not that. The approximately increase in a male's femur length in inches for every increase of 32.1. Nope, because it's going to be for every increase in 1 inches in his height. The approximate increase in a male's femur in inches for every 1 inch increase in his height. Exactly, that's what I just said. Answer is going to be C. Because if you increase this by 1, then the height increases by 1.88. Meaning our answer is going to be C. Right? That's a logic question. That's easy. Alright, last multiple choice question. Question 30. In quadrilateral ABCD above, AD is, I don't know what that is, probably perpendicular. AD is probably perpendicular to BC. And CD is equal to 1/2 AB. So CD, I'll call this X, and I'll call this 1/2 AB. I'll call this 2X. What is the measure of angle B? Alright, so I'm just going to drop an altitude, right? Because these two are equal, I'm just going to call this X, right? I'm going to call this X, and this is 2X. Oh, wait, and this is also going to be a right triangle. A right triangle, because this is also going to be right, therefore this is right, because they are parallel. These two sides are parallel. And now they're asking for what is the measure angle B. So this is B right here. This angle right here is going to be 90 plus this angle right here. Because as you guys can see here, this is all right angles. So this is going, actually let me erase some of that so you guys can see. So if I drop an altitude, this angle right here is going to be 90 plus this angle right here. So we have a right triangle. This is a classic right triangle. X, 2X, X root 3. You guys can probably see this a million times. A 30, 60, 90 triangle. Therefore, this side is 60. What's 60 plus 90? 60 plus 90 is 150. Meaning your angle for angle B is going to be 150. Alright, let's move on. We're done with the multiple choice section. Whew. That took around 35 minutes. Now let's move on to short response. Lynn has $8 to spend on apples and oranges. Apples cost 65 cents each, and oranges cost 75 cents each. If there is no tax on this purchase and he buys 5 apples, what is the maximum number of whole oranges he can buy? So if he buys 5 apples, that means that he spends a total of $33.25. So $8 of his total budget minus 3.25 is 4.75. So it means he has $4.75 left to spend on oranges. So 4.75 divided by 0.75, that's equal to 6. That's equal to 6. So at most he can buy 6 oranges, right? So that was easy. Question 32. In the equation above, if A is equal to 34, what is the value of B plus C? So B plus C, if you add all the angles inside a triangle, how many degrees is that? That's 180. So A plus B plus C is going to equal to 180. But they give you A, so 34 plus B plus C is equal to 180. Minus 34 on both sides. B plus C is equal to 146. That's going to be your answer, right? And now, question 33. If the mean of 5 numbers above is 1600, what is the value of x? So let's just add all these numbers up. 700 plus 1,200 plus 1,600 plus 2,000. That's equal to 43,000, I think. Right? Is that equal to 43,000? That's 1,900 plus 3,600. 2,800 plus... No, that's equal to... Wow, I am way off. That's 5,600. Wow, I was way off on that. I'm sorry for that. So 5,600 plus x over 5, because there are 5 terms. And what is their mean? It's going to be 1,600. 1,600, yep. Now, let's just solve for x. Multiply both sides by 5. 5,600 plus x is equal to 8,000. Minus 5,600 on both sides. X is equal to what? X is equal to 2,400. Boom, that's going to be your answer. Right, mean is second grade math. 34. The relationship between x and y can be rewritten as y is equal to mx, where m is a constant. If y is equal to 17 and when x is equal to a, what is the value of y when x is equal to 2a? Alright, so as you guys can see here, if y is equal to 17, so I'm just going to say 17 is equal to ma, right? Because y is equal to 17 while x is equal to a, so ma. Now, they're asking for when x is equal to 2a. So what is y when m is 2a? As you can see right here, you multiply this by 2, right? Because, let me just remove the parentheses. So that's m times 2a. Now, you multiply this by 2 times 2. So it means you're going to have to multiply y by 2. Because it's a linear equation, so whatever you do to the top, you do whatever you do to on the x side, you do on the y side. So what's 17 times 2? 34. That's going to be your solution. Alright, let's move on to the last page of this test. Wow, that was a very long test. In the equation above, x, a and b are constants. If the equation has infinitely many solutions for x, what is the value of b? Alright, so let's just factor this out. So, wait, if there are linear... Alright. If there are infinitely many solutions. So, for there to be infinitely many solutions, this equation has to equal this equation right here. Like, so, I'm going to, because this is 4, a is going to have to equal to 4. So, 4 times x plus b is equal to 4x plus 10. Because when you factor this out, I said this equation has to equal this equation. Therefore, x has to equal to, 4 has to equal to a. So 4 times b. So if you distribute this, 4x plus 4b is equal to 4x plus 4 plus 10. Therefore, 4b has to equal to 10. Therefore, b has to equal to 2.5. That's going to be your answer, 2.5. Because you just solve, right? This is algebra 1. You guys can do this with ease. 36. In the xy plane, a line has the equation y is equal to c. For some constant, c intersects a parabola at exactly one point. If the parabola has the equation y is equal to negative x squared plus 5x. What is the value of c? Alright, so y is equal to c. So if we write this equation out, so what does this equation look like? Oh, so for us to figure out the answer, y is equal to c. So let me just draw out this. Right, let me help you visualize this. So the equation is going to look something like this right here. It's going to look, I don't know, it's going to point downwards because it's negative, right? And now, therefore, y is equal to c. So for it to intersect only one point, it's going to have to be its vertex. So how do we find vertex from this form? So what we're going to do, I'm just going to distribute. So y is equal to negative x squared plus 5x. If you guys are still watching this video at this point, right, let me show you how, because this is going to be very important to put any equation into vertex form. So first we factor out the negative, so negative x squared minus 5x. All right, I distribute out the negative because I hate negative numbers. And now I'm gonna complete the square. So x minus 5 over 2. Why did I do that? Because, all right, so first you put the x. Always put x. Minus, because in this case it's going to be minus, and you divide 5 by 2. You divide whatever this number is by 2, giving you 5 over 2, and you square it. And now this is equal to what? This is equal to, if you factor this out, this is equal to x squared minus 5x minus plus 25 over 4. Now, the initial equation is only this. There's no 25 over 4. So how do we get this initial equation? We're going to subtract back 25 over 4. Right? We're going to subtract 25 over 4 from this equation. Therefore, right, because there's no 25 over 4 in the initial equation, so we're asking for what is the value of c. The value of c is going to be 25 over 4. All right. Whew. Now, that was a weird question. Question 37. The peregrine falcon can reach speeds up to 200 miles per hour when diving to catch prey, making it the fastest animal on the planet when it dives. What is a peregrine falcon's maximum speed while trying to catch prey in feet per second? Alright, so if we use a calculator, right, feet per second. So it travels 200 miles per hour. So 200 miles mph. So how much is that per second? Okay, so that's 200, because 200 miles, there's 200 miles in 60 minutes. Right? So if you divide that by 60, that'll give you 200 over 6, 260 miles per hour in 1 minute. And now you divide that by 60 again. Wait, yeah, you divide by 60. So I'm just going to use my calculator. So I'm just going to show you what I'm doing on the side. So it goes 200 miles per hour, divide that by 60 to get the amount of minutes, divide that by 60 again to get the amount of seconds. So it travels this many miles per second, right? But they're asking for the answer in feet. So 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. So you multiply this by 5,280, giving you 293. They say round to the nearest whole number, so it means 293 is going to be your solution. Right, and now let's move on to the last question, finally. Our journey is about to end, guys. Whew. Question 38. If a peregrine falcon dove at a maximum speed for half an hour, half a mile to catch prey, how many seconds would it take to dive? So, so we just calculated the math, right? It would take, so if a peregrine falcon can go, I'm just going to place my calculator right here so you guys can see. So if a peregrine falcon can go 200 miles per hour, that means in 1 minute it could go, 200, 200 divided by 60, so it could go this many miles in 1 minute, right? And then we're going to divide that by 60 again, giving you 0.5, right? So it could go 0.05 miles per second. So half a mile, if they can go this many miles so it can go this many miles in 1 second. So how many would it take to get this into 1/2? So you divide this. So it's 1/2 divided by this, right? So that's 0.5 divided by the speed that we just calculated, which was 0.0555555556. which gives you something along the lines of 9. So that's going to be 9 seconds. It's going to take the parakeet falcon 9 seconds to catch its prey. So boom, we're done with the SAT math section number 4. This took approximately 45 minutes. The test gives you 55 minutes, so you're going to have ample time to check your answer, around 10 minutes to check your answer, right? Because test is 55 minutes, and now we're done. So I'll see you guys later, guys. Yep, I'll see you guys later, and peace out.